question per the NCAA and per what we're doing here. So if you can make that change here in the next 3 to 5 minutes, that would be fantastic. So again, that's the only thing I ask right now. I'll let you know as soon as I find out. I'm told that Kevin McCullough is on his way. And ask, one, we want to thank you guys for participating. We are now joined by Kevin McCullough, and we'll begin the press conference. Use the raised hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on, even though I will talk about your name and affiliation, please state your name and affiliation to him as well. Our first question is going to be from Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Journal.
Hey, Kevin. Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. Just wanted to ask you, a critical part of that second half was when Mac was on the bench and you guys went on that 24-4 run. Can you just speak to what Terrence was able to do in terms of making plays, as Coach Beard likes to say, once the NCAA tournament starts?
Yeah, what's up, Carlos? And late, Coach just came in at halftime. We had to make some adjustments at half, and really we're just focused on playing defense and being the more aggressive team, and just letting the offense come. TJ started making shots, and we just kept playing through them, and we kept trying to get stops on the defensive end.
Can you speak in that first half to what you all were kind of in a mindset of? Because it seemed like that style of play, it seemed like it would have been tough to get to 40 at that point. But can you just speak to what y'all were able to do to kind of tough through it and be able to kind of succeed in that second half?
Oh, yeah, we were just trying to fill out the game a little bit, trying to get the ball movement more, pop the ball around, see what we can get into on offensive end. And just like I said, we were just really focused on the defensive end and trying to apply pressure to a really good Utah State team.
I guess in terms of yourself, can you speak to your quick start, 5-0 run, personal run? I guess did you kind of feel like you had some open shots at that point, or did you just kind of want to get in the game real quick? And how special was it for you to kind of start this off?
I'm just excited to be here, and I was ready to play tonight. My teammate Kyler, he found me on both of the assists. He seen me wide open, and he drove in there, and he got me going early. So, credit to him, and I'm just happy to be here right now.
Last one from me. In terms of Keita, their shot blocker, you guys seem to drive the ball to the basket, try and get a kind of call for the foul, so to speak, as Chris Beard would talk about. In terms of what the aggressiveness was, how do you feel you all played aggressively on the offensive end and on the defensive end? How did you all feel about just creating turnovers and being able to get quick points off those?
Yeah, like you said, Coach Beard, he always tells us to demand the foul, and we're trying to be aggressive, go at him and attack him. He's a really good player and really good shot blocker, and that was our game plan on offense. And then on defense, just trying to pick up full court and just apply pressure and be the more aggressive team, diving for loose balls, trying to get every 50-50 ball.
All right, our next question will be from Eric Kelly from KAMC TV.
Hey, Kevin, Eric Kelly from KMAC here. In terms of this game, obviously it's talked about a lot being a game of runs, and this one was kind of back and forth. For guys who haven't been in the tournament before, how are you guys able to stay kind of level-headed, calm, and composed in kind of, this sort of atmosphere?
We had some guys on that Final Four team like Avery and Kyler, and then the coaching staff, they've been there and they've been to the biggest stage. It's a game of runs in March, and we know they're a really good team. They're going to make some runs, and we know we're going to make some runs. So we just have to stay level-headed and just keep competing every possession.
But in terms of the defensive end, you talked about putting that sort of pressure on Utah State. Being undersized against a guy like Keita, who demands so much attention, what were your guys' goal in terms of making him uncomfortable, even if you couldn't put a 7-footer on him?
Oh, yeah, he's a really good player. He's a really good player down low. He can hit the 15-footer. You got to guard him. And we were really just trying to, work our game plan. If Marcus needed help down there, sometimes let him stay by himself, different things like that. And we're just trying to swarm the ball. And they had really good shooters out there, too. So it's a tough matchup. They're a really good team, but we ended up getting it done.
Our next question comes from Kevin Fielder from Fifth Quarter.
Hey, Kevin, congratulations. Kevin Fielder from fifth quarter. Obviously, after that first half and that second half, you guys really started to hit your shots. How important is that going into, the later rounds of this tournament, knowing that you guys can have those second halves where your shots really start to fall?
Yeah, we put in countless hours of work. That's all the work that we did to get here, and you got to make shots to advance in this tournament. That's part of it. Obviously you got to play defense, but it felt good to see the ball go in the net, and we needed it tonight.
Thank you, Kevin, for your time, and best of luck in the next round. We will be joined momentarily by Coach Chris Beard. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary. And I would also like to ask you to limit it to one question and maybe one follow-up. We have a lot of people on here that we will try to get to as best we can, but we also want to make sure that you're able to get what you need. So one question and then one follow-up if I call on you. I would again like to reiterate that to be called on, you need to work on in making sure that both your name and the affiliation that you have is noted on the screen per the NCAA. So if you get a chance right now, you can make that change for some of you. It would be much appreciated and ensure that you get called. Coach, you can take your mask off.
Thank you.
We will now begin with an opening statement from Coach Beard and then go to questions. We ask that you use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for a question, please state your name and affiliation, even though I may do that right before. Coach, go ahead and give us an opening statement, and then we'll go to questions.
And I want to start by congratulating Utah State on an outstanding season. Well-coached team, some really good players. We knew they were not going to beat themselves, and we were going to have to try to be the aggressor to get this first game under our belts. It's a unique relationship in this tournament with whoever you play in the first game because you really have about a week to prepare, and you learn so much about them. I saw every game they played, every press conference. You really feel like you're kind of a part of their team by the time the ball is finally tipped. So they had an outstanding season. Lost a couple games early and then just went on a run. Very worthy of their bid, and just got a lot of respect for their program. I want to wish all those players a healthy offseason and summer. I just can't tell you how much respect I have for them. In terms of our guys, it's a happy locker room because we, again, knew that we had a tough draw. Utah State, one of the most disciplined teams in the tournament. Keita, really a good player inside, so all sorts of challenges, so we're pleased to win. So that would be my opening statement. And then Mr. Lenardi, I just want to thank him again for, he never picks us, and our guys kind of feed on that. So I tell the guys to stay off of social media, but it's almost impossible this time of year. But a couple guys brought that to our attention that he once again didn't pick us. So not sure if he got a speeding ticket in Lubbock back in the day or something. But, last time we were in this tournament, we did pretty well, and we intend to make a run this year too.
Thank you, Coach. Our first question comes from Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Journal.
Hey, Coach, Carlos Silva from the Lubbock Avalanche Journal. You talk about guys at the NCAA tournament level to make plays. Can you speak to what Terrence Shannon was able to do in terms of making plays in that second half, scoring all 10 of his points during that 24-4 run?
Yeah, we really played through him. He got 3 assists during that run as well. Didn't play as well as he wanted to, or we wanted him to, or I wanted him to in the first half. But it wasn't because he wasn't trying. His heart was in the right place. First NCAA tournament game, I saw it with Jarrett Culver. I saw it with some of our other great guys, Davide Moretti. That first game's a tough one. And, I thought he did a great job at halftime, calming down, taking the coaching, having confidence in himself, remembering all the hours in the gym and the sacrifices that he's made since last season ended to now, and really having the courage to play great, down the stretch. And I, give his teammates a lot of credit. We recognized who the hot hand was. TJ did a great job offensively in the game.
Last one from me. In terms of the 22 turnovers that you were able to force against Utah State, what were you able to do to get them off kilter? Because as you said, they've been a team that's taking care of the ball, especially Keita, who they kind of really run their offense through.
Yeah, for us, it always starts with Coach Adams. In my opinion, one of the best coaches in college basketball. Guy's been doing this for a long time, and we trust Coach Adams. He does a great job putting together defensive game plans for us, the players, and myself and the rest of the staff. We got a lot of faith and trust in Coach. He did a great job with this game plan. Above all, the players deserve the credit. Again, it was a game plan based on our respect for Utah State. This is a disciplined team. This team's not going to beat themselves. We really felt like we had to be the most aggressive team. We were willing to take some chances and leave ourselves open to some punches in doing that. And we did that today, gave up some easy baskets, a couple threes, but I thought obviously the ability to turn them over, create some offense from our defense really was probably the difference in the game.
Our next question comes from Ryan King of KLBK.
Hey, Coach. Ryan King with KLBK here in Lubbock. Just this game seemed like it had so many runs back and forth. What did you see in the one specifically right there at the beginning of the second half? You guys went on a 16-2 run that really felt like you took control of this one. What was really working in that run specifically?
Yeah, I agree. NCAA tournament games are a game of runs. You got to have a lot of poise, ups and downs. Got to stay the course. We didn't want to get into a one-possession game with Utah State because we know how disciplined they are, and they got some really good players they can play through late. They did great this year through late last-minute games. I thought specific to our successful run at the start of the second half, our defense remained consistent. In the first half, we guarded. But really what helped us on that run is our offense opened up. We got a little bit more aggressive on our break, a little bit more aggressive with our shot selection, and just told the guys to play fearless, to play with courage, to let it rip. That's our deal. This NCAA tournament, we try to give our guys a theme each year when we're here. Let it rip. We've earned the right to be here. We played in the best league in college basketball this year and held our own. And, we think we can win 6 games in this tournament. Not going to be easy. No one's going to predict us to do it. But when it comes down to a 40-minute game, I think we can play with anybody. The more aggressive we are, I think the better chance we have.
And finally, were you impressed with, without having an NCAA tournament last year, your guys obviously can't pull back on that, and the team from 2 years ago looks so different. Were you impressed with the ability to answer so many runs and so many things they were able to do in this game and not let the moment get too big with no NCAA tournament last year?
Yeah, I was. We got some veterans, though. We rely on Marcus and Kyler and Mac and JB and those guys to give us a poise, and we certainly did. It was great to have Burton back out there. He hasn't played in weeks. He's playing with a deal now where he's showing a lot of courage and fight and toughness to try to help the team, and he did. Big shot in the first half, gave us some calm minutes, and he was a real vocal point in our timeouts. He's an outstanding player. The guys that have been here before, Kyler and Avery, Marcus has played in an NCAA tournament game. So we had just enough experience where I thought it allowed us to kind of calm down and understand, hey, let's don't get rattled.
Next question comes from Eric Kelly, KAMC TV.
Hey, Coach. Eric Kelly from KMAC. What can you say about the performance of Marcus today? Obviously, a tough matchup inside, but he's able to take one of the best shot blockers in the nation in the post a little bit on offense, and then did a good job holding him on the boards as well.
Yeah, I thought Marcus's mind and his heart was in the right place today. He came to play. No doubt about it. We played through him early. He kept us in the game in the first half. It's a load down there trying to guard Keita. Make sure I'm pronouncing his name right. It's always kind of disrespectful when you don't know it. I know these guys by numbers, but Keita, 23, outstanding player. I think he's a future pro. So Marcus knew he had his hands full, but I thought Marcus more than held his own and battled. Marcus is an experienced player. He's the preseason newcomer of the year in the Big 12 for a reason. Did a lot of work at the Division I level at VCU. I mean, he's here. This is his time. These lights are not too bright for Marcus. I thought in the second half when we made a coaching decision to go small ball, Marcus was dialed in on that bench, and just a great teammate. Just like Marcus, from the very first phone call in recruiting to today right now after the game just a few minutes ago, Marcus isn't chasing stats. He wants one thing, that's to win, and I thought that's exactly what he did today. He played like a winner.
And then obviously I know you guys just spent, 40 minutes keeping the season alive, but just what do you know about obviously what Eric Musselman's been able to build down there at Arkansas, your next opponent?
Yeah, I like Muss. We're friends. Exchange calls and text every once in a while. A lot of respect for what he did at Nevada. We played those guys in Lubbock in a really tough game. We were fortunate to win. I have a lot of pride in the state of Arkansas. Little Rock will always be special to me. Got my first Division I opportunity there, and I just love that state. Follow that program. He's doing a great job. And so a lot of respect for their program. I've seen him play as a fan this year. I know they got a lottery pick. I know they got a couple other NBA guys. I know they got an NBA coach that's going to game plan and scheme. And so it'll be a real challenge for us. But we've been through a lot of challenges lately. When you play 18 Big 12 games and you play, in my opinion, one of the most disciplined teams in the tournament in Game 1, Utah State, it's not going to be an excuse that we haven't been challenged. So they're an outstanding team. They're worthy of their high seed. They've had a great season. Nothing but respect for Coach and those players. We look forward to the opportunity to play against a great team.
Next question comes from Paula Yeager.
Hello, Coach. This is actually Joe Yeager from Inside the Red Raiders. My wife couldn't make it. But Coach, I was wondering, in the first half, it seemed like you weren't getting a whole lot of contributions from too many guys except for Marcus and maybe one other guy. But it seemed like everybody you put on the court in the second half was actually giving you major contributions. Did you see it that way at all?
First of all, Joe, I knew it was you. Because you had your mute button on again, and we've been dealing with that all year long in Lubbock. But I personally like you, man. I kind of respect what you do, so I'm going to kind of hang in there with you for a long time. Wes Bloomquist was back here, pull the cord. It's Joe again, pull the cord. I was like, no, Wes, let's hang in there with the people that were here when this thing started, Number two, I'm looking at myself here in this NCAA tournament high-def camera. This is obviously a Zoom press conference. Dude, I felt like the beard was a good thing, but, man, I have got major white in the beard right here. Not really sure how I feel about that. A little bit concerned. Haven't seen that all year. The NCAA must be rocking a different camera than we have in Lubbock. Your question, Joe, yes, I agree with you. March Madness, to me, is a player's game. It sounds really obvious, like Captain Obvious here. Your best players have to play well. Anybody you put in a game has to contribute. You're not going to be able to absorb a couple guys playing bad. In the first half, we had guys playing hard but not well. In the second half, I would argue before watching the film that I think everybody played well in the second half, whether it be a Clarence dive on the floor, a Micah Peavy, courageous jump shot, a Kyler Edwards, let's calm the team down, I'm a veteran. Mac McClung got going a little bit. TJ was our best player in the second half, so I agree with you. March Madness is a player's game. And I thought our players played well, especially in the second half.
And then my last question, Coach, basically in the first half, you weren't hitting shots. Second half, you were hitting shots. Basically, I don't know, what was the biggest difference in you guys actually managing to knock down shots in the second half?
Yeah, we fired our shooting coach at halftime. You get the extended halftime here in the NCAA tournament in the timeouts because, I guess, commercials and the money side of this deal. So we took advantage of that. We made some adjustments with our shooting coach for sure. No, in all seriousness, the players, I told the guys, hey, man, just take a deep breath there. Think about all the time you spend in the gym, the summer, the spring, early mornings, late night, 300 club, extra shots. We put in the work, man. We deserve the right. We earn the right to make some shots. Let's don't go panic here at halftime and change our offense. Let's just take a deep breath and be the best version of ourselves. Now, we did get a little more aggressive offensively, turn up the heat a little bit because their half-court defense is so well. I thought that our best chance was to get some shots in transition. So from a coaching standpoint, give the guys credit. They listened. Hey, let's go get some shots early because this defense is so good.
Yeah, I got time for one more question, and that's from Ryan Herrera.
Hey, Coach. Ryan Herrera with the Houston Chronicle. I noticed the first 2 buckets that Utah State scored were Keita, and then the next, I think, 26 minutes, something like that, you guys kept him off. He didn't score at all. So what does it say about this team that they're able to, keep the other team's best player from beating them and get the win?
Yeah, guys, I can't tell you how good he is. I mean, when my friends in pro basketball always kind of ask me in the spring, hey, who'd you see this year? This guy will be at the top of the list. I mean, again, today, double-double and 6 assists. I mean, he's a triple-double guy. I think the best thing we did today was probably limiting some of his shot attempts. Defense for us wasn't, hey, let's try to figure out how to make him go 4 for 15. That wasn't the deal. It was, hey, man, we better not let him get 15 shots. So today he gets 8 shots, if I'm accurate, and that was probably the best thing we did because when he gets the ball, something good is going to happen for Utah State. It's going to be a bucket, it's going to be a foul drawn, or it's going to be an assist. He is the best big man passer that I saw this year in college basketball. But I do think you got to give our guys credit. When we were in small ball, we fought him. Marcus did a good job in the game. We did just enough, I think, to not let him be the deciding factor. But I want to congratulate him on another great game. A double-double with 6 assists. Mic drop. He's a good player.
Coach, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. That's